All right, so let's kind of take a look at an actual case in the limited amount of time we have. And what we're talking about is the idea of thinking you've got everything laid out and planned, right? And you don't need to monitor your progress. This was an actual couple I worked on a couple of years ago. They were already clients and this actually happened. I've changed the names and the amounts and ages a little bit to protect the innocent. But at the time, he was 61 and she was 60, okay, husband and wife. His goal was to work 4 more years and retire. She had already retired. She had $200,000 in her IRA that she did not want to spend. She wanted to leave that alone and let it accumulate. He wanted to have, by the time he retired, $400,000 in his 401k, and he was well on his way. Everything was going great. They had no intention of taking Social Security. We had done a Social Security analysis, and we already had a game plan worked out where we would delay their Social Security to at least their full retirement age, okay? This was the plan, so to speak. This is as we're flying into the LZ before we know what's going on with the enemy. And he had already had scheduled to pay off his home by working full-time at age 65, and she didn't want to go back to work. All this sounded great until one day, the proverbial, you've heard of this, I'm sure, pink slip. So I get a call. This is how the Monitor Your Progress works, folks. We're not chasing these people around, hounding them over, every quarter. What are you going to do? They knew that if something ever occurred like this, he gets the pink slip out of the blue, that they call us. So we simply had to meet, and what we had to do was change the game plan. Folks, one thing's for certain. You can lay out the game plan all you want to, but if you don't have an experienced retirement specialist that knows things like this can happen, like getting a pink slip, and can recoup and regroup. So we figured out how to still try to accomplish his goals without having to make any major changes. Now, think about this. This person is 61 years of age. He told me, he said, Tony, I don't know who's going to hire me and make the same kind of money I was making, which obviously, if you're going through this, folks, the reason they're laying you off is because that's the problem. They don't want to pay you that kind of money. They're going to hire maybe 1 or 2 people for half as much as what they're paying you. So this is a real dilemma when you get into this age range. This can happen. I see it happen a lot. So now is the time to get the game plan in order. You monitor your progress by being realistic. So what was the good news here? There was some good news because when they called me, we already had a game plan in mind. We just had to adjust and monitor. This was not a broken arrow moment. We didn't have to call in a Hail Mary and bring in all the troops. We made some slight adjustments, figured out some changes they had to make, and we're able to make sure that they're still going to retire worry-free. What about you? Maybe sitting there saying, Tony, I don't have a game plan. I've got an advisor, but I don't have a retirement specialist. Or you may have been retired for years and nobody's monitoring anything you're doing. Why don't you take advantage of talking to me in person? Just log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Now, once there, your information is confidentially sent to our office and we will arrange a time to either speak with you by phone or meet with me in either our Bowling Green or Louisville, Kentucky offices. As well, those of you in the Lexington area on LEX TV, thanks for watching. We're getting a lot of response, and yes, we are here to help you as well. So log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.